From the moment I met Patricia, my mother-in-law, I knew she didn't like me. It wasn't anything I could put my finger on at first, just a feeling, a certain tightness in her smile when we were introduced, the way her eyes would narrow slightly whenever I spoke. "She's just protective of her son," my then-boyfriend Mark explained. "She'll warm up to you, give her time." 6 years later, I was still waiting for that warmth. Through our engagement, wedding, and early marriage, Patricia's dislike for me only seemed to grow. She'd make little comments about my cooking, my clothes, how I kept our home. Nothing overtly hostile, always wrapped in a thin veneer of concern. "Oh, is that what you're wearing to the family reunion? Brave choice. I notice you don't iron Mark's shirts the way I taught him to like them. Your lasagna is different. I'll have to show you how to make it properly sometime." I tried everything. I volunteered at her church. I remembered every birthday, anniversary, and special occasion with thoughtful gifts. I laughed at her unfunny jokes and swallowed my pride when she corrected me in front of others. For Mark's sake, I kept the peace. Mark would occasionally defend me, but he'd always qualify it. "Mom doesn't mean anything by it," or "That's just how she is." He was caught in the middle, and I didn't want to force him to choose. Then came the baby discussions. We'd been married for 3 years, and we were ready to start a family. Patricia's interference reached new heights. "You're not getting any younger," she told me at Sunday dinner, though I was only 29. "Your biological clock is ticking." A month later, "Are you sure you're eating right? You need to prepare your body properly." When 6 months passed with no pregnancy announcement, the comments became more pointed. "Maybe you should see a specialist. There might be something wrong with you." Never with us, never with Mark, with me. What Patricia didn't know, what we hadn't told anyone, was that we were seeing a fertility specialist. Mark had a low sperm count. We were exploring options, working through our feelings, supporting each other through the emotional roller coaster of fertility treatments. But in Patricia's world, any reproductive issue had to be the woman's fault. She couldn't imagine her perfect son being anything less than virile. Things came to a head at Mark's birthday dinner. Patricia had invited the whole family, his siblings, their spouses, cousins, everyone. As we were having dessert, she clinked her glass for attention. "I just want to say," she announced, smiling at Mark, "that I'm still waiting for a grandchild from my eldest. Some things are worth waiting for, but I'm not getting any younger." The table laughed. I forced a smile, my face burning. "Maybe next year," someone called out. Patricia locked eyes with me. "Yes, maybe next year, if everything is working properly." I excused myself to the bathroom and cried. Mark found me there, apologized profusely, promised to talk to his mother, but nothing changed. Months passed. Our fertility journey continued, with all its disappointments and small hopes. Then Patricia started something new. She began inviting Mark's ex-girlfriend Amber to family events. "Oh, we've stayed close," Patricia explained innocently when I questioned it. "She's like the daughter I never had." Amber was always perfectly nice to my face, but I'd catch them whispering sometimes, laughing, stopping abruptly when I approached. Mark assured me it was nothing, that Amber was just an old friend, that I was being paranoid. Maybe I was, until the day Mark came home from work early, his face pale, his eyes cold. "We need to talk," he said, placing his phone on the table between us. On the screen was a text from Amber. "I'm so sorry you had to find out like this. I've been trying to tell you for months. Ask her about David from her office. Ask her why she works late every Tuesday." David was my coworker. We were working on a big project together, staying late on Tuesdays to meet our deadline. There was nothing romantic between us. He was happily married with 3 kids and 20 years my senior. "This is ridiculous," I said. "David? He's old enough to be my father." "That's not what Amber says," Mark replied, his voice tight. "She says she saw you together at Riverside Cafe, holding hands, looking intimate." I was stunned. I've never been to Riverside Cafe with David, ever. But Mark wasn't listening. More texts arrived. Screenshots of supposed conversations where I'd confessed my unhappiness in our marriage, my attraction to David, my relief that we hadn't had children yet. Conversations that had never happened? "These are fake," I said, my heart pounding. "Mark, you know me. You know I wouldn't do this." But doubt had taken root. In the following days, more evidence appeared. A photo of a woman who looked vaguely like me from behind, sitting with a man in a restaurant. An anonymous email to Mark's work account with details about the supposed affair. I realized what was happening. Patricia and Amber were framing me. But why would Mark believe them over me, his wife of 4 years? Because he wanted to. Because it was easier to believe I was cheating than to face the truth about our fertility struggles. Because his mother's voice had been in his ear for years, planting seeds of doubt about my worthiness. 2 weeks later, Mark moved out. He said he needed space to think. A week after that, he filed for separation. All my attempts to talk to him, to show him evidence that the texts were fabricated, that I'd never been to that restaurant, that David would vouch for the nature of our work relationship, all fell on deaf ears. I was devastated. My marriage was imploding over a lie, and behind it all was Patricia finally getting what she wanted, me out of her son's life. I hit rock bottom. I stopped eating, barely slept. Friends tried to help, but how do you explain that your mother-in-law has orchestrated your divorce with fake evidence of an affair that never happened? Then came a moment of clarity. If Patricia could play dirty, maybe it was time I fought back. Not with lies. I wouldn't sink to her level, but with truth. And to find the truth, I needed to dig. I hired a private investigator. It cost me nearly all of my savings, but I was desperate. I gave him everything I had on Patricia and asked him to look into her life, her connections to Amber, anything that might help me understand what was happening and clear my name. 3 weeks later, he called me for a meeting. What he found changed everything. Patricia was having an affair. Not a brief indiscretion, but a long-term relationship with her church's married deacon. It had been going on for over 2 years, right under her husband's nose. The PI had photos, hotel receipts, text messages, concrete, undeniable evidence. I sat in my car after the meeting, staring at the manila envelope in my hands. This could destroy Patricia's marriage. It would devastate Mark's father, who had always been kind to me. It would upend their entire family. But hadn't she already destroyed my marriage? Hadn't she already devastated me? I had a choice to make. I drove to Mark's father's office. Richard was a quiet gentleman who had always seemed overshadowed by Patricia's stronger personality. He looked surprised to see me. "Jennifer," he said, half rising from his desk, "I didn't expect you." "I know," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "But there's something you need to see." I placed the envelope on his desk and waited while he opened it, watched his face change as he flipped through the photos of his wife with another man, saw his hands begin to shake. "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. "I wouldn't have brought this to you if Patricia hadn't destroyed my marriage with lies. She and Amber fabricated an affair between me and a coworker. They sent Mark fake texts, photoshopped images. He believed them. He left me." Richard looked up, his face ashen. "Why would she do that?" "Because she never thought I was good enough for Mark, and now she's won. He's gone. But I couldn't let her lies stand unchallenged, not when she's been living a lie herself." I left Richard with the envelope and all its damning contents. I didn't know what he would do with the information, but I'd done what I came to do. I had exposed the truth. The fallout was swift and severe. Richard confronted Patricia that night. By the next day, the entire family knew. The deacon's wife found out. The church community was rocked by the scandal. Mark called me 3 days later, his voice hollow. "Did you have to tell Dad? Did you have to blow up their marriage?" "Did your mother have to blow up ours?" I countered. "With lies, no less. At least, what I revealed was the truth." "She made a mistake," he said weakly. "A mistake?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Mark, she deliberately fabricated evidence to convince you I was cheating. She enlisted your ex-girlfriend to help destroy our marriage. That's not a mistake. That's a calculated attack." He was quiet for a long moment. "I should have trusted you," he finally said. "I should have known you wouldn't cheat." "Yes," I agreed. "You should have." "Can we talk? Face to face, I mean. I think we might have made a terrible mistake." I closed my eyes, tears streaming down my face. Just weeks ago, I would have given anything to hear those words, but now I wasn't sure. "I need time," I said. "This isn't something I can just get over." "I understand," he replied, though I doubted he really did. I'll wait. However long you need. In the following weeks, the full extent of Patricia's deception came to light. She had indeed orchestrated the entire thing, convincing Amber to help by playing on her lingering feelings for Mark. They had created fake texts, staged photos, even paid a woman who looked like me to have lunch with a man at that restaurant. All to get rid of me. Richard filed for divorce. Mark's siblings were divided. Some blamed me for exposing Patricia, others were disgusted by what she'd done. The family was fractured, possibly beyond repair. I felt a complex mix of emotions. Vindication, yes. Relief that the truth was known, but also sadness for the pain rippling through a family I had once hoped would be mine forever. And something else? Guilt. Had I gone too far? Could I have found another way to clear my name without destroying Patricia's marriage? Should I have given Mark more time to see through his mother's lies on his own? Mark and I eventually did meet. We talked for hours. He apologized profusely, admitted how wrong he had been to doubt me, to listen to his mother and Amber over his own wife. He asked for another chance. I don't know if I can trust you again, I told him honestly. You chose them over me when it mattered most. I know, he said, his voice breaking, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. But I love you, Jen. I never stopped. We're in counseling now, taking it day by day. I don't know if our marriage can be saved, but we're trying. As for Patricia, she lost everything. Her husband, her standing in the church, the respect of most of her children. She still blames me, of course. In her mind, I'm the villain who exposed her secret, not the wife who defended herself against her lies. Some people, including Mark sometimes, think I took it too far, that I should have found another way to prove my innocence without blowing up Patricia's marriage, that two wrongs don't make a right. Maybe they're right, maybe exposing her affair was excessive, a nuclear option when a surgical strike would have sufficed, but when someone tries to destroy your life with lies, when they take away the person you love most in the world, when they smile to your face while stabbing you in the back, rational thought isn't always at the forefront. So, am I the jerk for destroying my mother-in-law's marriage after she lied about me to my husband? I honestly don't know. Part of me believes she got exactly what she deserved, a taste of her own medicine, truth for her lies. Another part wonders if I could have found a better way, a cleaner solution that didn't cause so much collateral damage. All I know for certain is this: Patricia tried to destroy my marriage with lies. I exposed hers with truth. If that makes me the villain in her story, so be it. At least I can look at myself in the mirror, knowing I didn't fabricate evidence or manipulate people's emotions for my own benefit. The truth may not always set you free, but lies will eventually trap you. Patricia learned that lesson the hard way, and maybe, in time, she'll realize that the person who really destroyed her marriage wasn't me at all. It was her.